Hey guys, hello and welcome to what is going to be the last installment of this tutorial series on how to clone any online store with Divi and WooCommerce. My name is Roby, you're from the Divi Engine team, and today we're going to be looking at a few different topics to start finishing and fleshing out the details of our site. We're going to start looking at customizing the emails. We're going to look at adding packing slips using a plugin so that you can put a little insert inside of all of your orders. We're going to look at some policy pages and how you can generate those. And then we're also going to take a look at payment processing and some of the options that you have there. So strap in, get ready. We're going to go flesh out this Divi Engine and Fetch site and get ready to go live and start selling products. Okay guys, so the first thing we're going to be tackling today is to fix our cart and our checkout pages. You'll see here on my screen that the width is kind of funky and we've got that weird column here with the recent posts, and it's pretty easy to fix. And all we're going to need to do is jump into the back end, and if we click on proceed to checkout here, you'll see that the same thing's happening here. We've got that column there, but this is a default set by WooCommerce and the way that it lays out its pages when we're using Divi. So let's go ahead and fix that right now. To do that, we have to jump to the back end of our site here. All we need to do is go on our pages here. We go ahead to our cart page, we say edit. And then you'll see here that we've got this shortcode in here. Now we can go ahead and copy this. And for a full list of shortcodes, check the description in this video because we've got them all linked on the WooCommerce site. There's a bunch of shortcodes you can use. They're very handy when you're going to do some more custom things to your site. So with that shortcode in hand, I'm going to jump here back to Divi, and I'm going to go to the theme builder. And we've got all these global templates already that we've set up throughout this course, and we're just going to add another template. I'm going to scroll down to the WooCommerce pages. I'm going to select cart, and I'm going to say create template. Now we've got a template created. We're going to click on add custom body, and then we'll say build custom body. And now this is going to be super easy. All we're going to do is add a single column row, and then we're going to add it can be a code or a text module. I'll just use a code module, and then we'll paste that cart shortcode right in there. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to save that. We'll save it right here, and it's saved. I'll close here, and then remember that important step when you add a new template, you have to save it up here also. So let's see what our cart page looks like now. And there you go. Now we've got a nice full width cart page. It looks much, much better. But you'll see when we come to the checkout, we're going to need to repeat that process to get the checkout up and running. So back to the back end of our site, we're going to go pages, edit the checkout page. And then again, we'll just copy this WooCommerce shortcode. We'll hop back to Divi Theme Builder and add a new template. We'll scroll down to checkout, create template, add custom body, and then build a custom body. Now you've already seen what to do. We're going to add a single column row. I'll add a code module. And again, this can be a text module. It's up to you. Paste that shortcode in there. Wait for the visual builder to update. Great. And then we'll just save the page. Close this out. And then again, save right here. And now if we refresh our template on the front end, bam, full width, it looks a lot better. Now, I want to take a moment to talk about a recent Divi update that actually adds modules so that you can fully customize these pages. Now, unfortunately, we were already in the process of building out this course, but we will update it at some point to include building out both your checkout pages here or your cart page using the new custom Divi modules for your cart and checkout pages. Now, if you want a little bit more juice for these pages, I definitely recommend checking out BodyCommerce because BodyCommerce adds different things like a Shopify style checkout. It adds multi-step and various different types of templates that you can utilize. And if the templates aren't your thing, we actually offer almost double the amount of modules for your cart and checkout pages that you can use to customize your site and fine-tune it to look at any way you want. It really is a powerful tool, so definitely check that out. But I digress. I'm going to go ahead and just go back to my backend here and make sure all of this is saved up. And then we're going to continue through this last portion of our How to Clone Any Online Store tutorial series. So stick with me, we're going to continue through. Okay guys, so we already know that emails are an extremely important part of any e-commerce transaction that you do. It gives you security, but it also gives you a reference to go back to with things like your order number, the products that you ordered, how much you were charged, and a lot of important details for you as a customer. Now, the base WooCommerce emails look actually pretty terrible, and the flexibility with customizing them within WooCommerce, it's not the best. But we do have some flexibility in how we can change the way these emails look to align a little bit more with our brand here at the Divi Engine and Fitch site. So the way we do that about customizing the emails, we're going to go back to the backend of our site here. We're going to go to WooCommerce, and I'm going to go to Settings. Here on the Settings page, we're going to click on the Emails tab. And here are all the emails that WooCommerce can generate. Now, the important ones here that usually go through is the new order emails, the canceled, failed order, but then all the other statuses that you can have for your emails. You can even control things like the new account and the reset password emails. So what we want to do is come down here. Here we've got the from name settings that you can just change to Divi Engine and Fitch sales, maybe if it's a new sale. And then you can specify the from email address you want to use. I'm going to use this as default, but you would ideally put in your email address in here that will be sending the email where you want customers to reply to. Now let's take a look at the default template here. This is what our emails look like right now. It looks pretty awful, and this purple doesn't really align with our brand. So we're going to go to WooCommerce here. Now you see you can put in a header image here. Now what you actually need to put in there is to put in the actual URL of the image. So you can find that by going to Media. I'm just going to open up a new tab here in our media library. And then I'm going to click our logo here. You can just click this copy URL to clipboard. And then I'll go back to the back end. I'm going to paste this in right over here. And you'll see that it puts in the full path. I'm going to save that. And let's refresh this. Oh, it's there, but the logo is very big. Now, I know that WordPress generates some other copies of our logo sizes, or you can just upload a specific sized one. Okay, so clicking back here, I'm just going to paste that URL in here. And I added the 600 by 79, which is going to bring me that a little bit smaller logo that we just saw. So let me go ahead and save this and then come back to the front end. And with a refresh, you can see we've got a perfectly sized logo right here. Now, what about these colors, right? We want to change them to a little bit more aligned with our brand. So let's go back to the back end and scroll down a bit. Now here you can see that purple colors right here. What I'm going to be using here is our purple color that we designated in the beginning when we set up everything in the first installment of this video series. Okay, so I already have that copied to my clipboard for the blue color, so I'll save that in there. And the background color for the page, we'll make that all white. And then the body background color of the email, so this color here, we're going to set it to that off-white color that it gives us that we set in the beginning. And then for the body text color, or actually the base color, I'm going to swap with the body text color to be fair. I put this here. And then for the base color, we're going to use that orange color that features on the site. That doesn't get used a lot, but it makes it pop a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to paste that in here and save. And then just look at the front end of the site. Great. That works. Alrighty. Now, with our email template looking a little bit better, a little bit more on brand, I wanted to show you guys something, just a feature in BodyCommerce. So I'm going to flip over here. BodyCommerce actually allows you to customize the template for your WooCommerce emails a lot more in depth. Yeah, you can see that you can switch it on and off. You can set the different accent colors, background colors, shadows, the different font sizes. You can add header logos in a much easier fashion, as we did with the other example that I showed you. And then just more color options, alignment options. You can inject some text or whatever you want before the table of products. And then you can also enable product images. And you'll see down here is a little preview. Just with that product images even activated. Let me scroll down and show you. Now you can see a little preview of the images on there. And then you can put some content text before the table, like I just mentioned. You can go ahead and put some more contents after. You can customize the footer with the logo, etc. Just a lot of options. And then you've got this preview on the bottom of the page. So it's actually quite cool and just extends that flexibility and the extendability of how you can make your emails look a little bit more unique for your customers and just really gets things a little bit more on brand. So there you go. The WooCommerce email templates. Okay, guys, one last thing I want to mention before we go on here is just ensuring that your emails do get delivered. Now, WordPress uses the PHP mailer function, and it's great for testing and that type of thing. But generally, when you're working on a production site, you want to use SMTP to send those mails. This is because spam tactics are just so advanced that providers like Gmail and all these other transactional email services have wisened up a little bit and just block these type of emails and marks it as spam. Now, I'm not going to go through how to do this, but I'll link an article for you to follow that will show you how to do it. And the plugin we recommend is this WP Mail SMTP plugin by WP Forms. Just check it out. You want to make sure that your clients do get those order confirmations, that you get the new order emails, and that everything runs smoothly. Okay, guys, now there might be some occasions where it makes sense to add a printed packing slip to your orders. Maybe you're selling t-shirts, or maybe you sell like a subscription box with a bunch of products in it, and you want to list the individual items that have been included in there. Now, to do that, if you look on my screen here, we use a plugin called WooCommerce PDF Invoices and Packing Slips. I'm going to go ahead and install that on our Divi Engine and Fitch site right now. So if I come back to the backend on my site, I'm going to go to Plugins and then click on Add New. Right here, I'm going to type in PDF Packing Slips. Just quick and easy. And this is the one we're looking for by Ewout Fernhout. And then I'm going to click on Install. Okay, great. With our plugin installed, we'll make sure that it's activated. Great. Now we can see that it's activated. So now when you go on the left-hand side here, you go to WooCommerce, you'll see PDF invoices down here. Now here is a whole range of settings that you can set. It's only got one template, but you can, if you're a coder, you can go ahead and edit that template. But, for the purposes of this, this kind of suits the purpose. You can brand the packing slips with your logo. You can, adjust the height. You can put a little bit more information in here, which makes sense to do. And then at the end, you will just save it. Now, let's quickly generate an order here. Let's just go and say add order. And then let's see. Here you see the PDF information right here. Let's add some items to the order, add a product, and let's go with Divi. Let's add the string bag, add that in there. Let's just add one more item, Divi, and then we'll just add the lanyard as well. Now we can see all of that's right there. We're going to want to add some billing information. Actually, let's see if this will allow me to do that. Great. Create the new order. Okay, it says order updated. And then we've got the information here. Now let's go back to the order screen and click on this. Here we can see everything that it's still holding on payment. But when we go in, we'll see all the PDF information filled in right here. You can even do stuff like setting the invoice date and the numbers and stuff like that. It's entirely up to you. And then if you want to see the packing slip, you just click here. And there it's got the basic information on there. It says the products that are in there. And it just makes a lot of sense in some situations if that's something you need to do. So now you know how to add PDF packing slips to your orders or generate invoices. It's a really great tool for that. Okay, so let's take a minute to talk about something that is super important but often overlooked by new startups or new online stores that go up. And I see this all too often. And that's the policy pages. Now, you want policy pages on your site for various things, especially when you're selling stuff. You want policy pages for your privacy policy. You might have terms and conditions that you want users to agree to, but also things like return policies, shipping policies, exchange policies, all sorts of stuff like that. You really need to sit and think about that. Now, there's good news. You don't have to necessarily hire a lawyer, even though I probably suggest that you might want to do that. But there are professional services out there that specialize in this type of thing. Now, let's look at a basic WordPress plugin you can use. Here on my screen, you'll see WP Auto Terms. Now, this is one that you can use for the absolute bare minimum. You can use it to generate a privacy policy. You can do terms and conditions, but you can also add GDPR and CCPA notices to your site. These are important things. Depending on where you live, these things might be required of you to have on your site. So really consider this one. It's super easy to use, and I will link the plugin in the description of this video. Now, if you're looking for something a little bit more professional, here's the site called termly.io. Now, this one does pretty much any type of terms that you want to generate. And this is actually run by a legal team. So you can see legal protection you can trust. There's 600 different types that get generated daily. But you can see here from the list here that there's an absolute ton of different policies. There's your return policy, your shipping policy. These are all the basic ones that are almost necessary of you to have on your site. Now, I've played with this before, and what it does, it generates an embed code that you can just come back here to your WordPress site. And if you go to pages, and by default, WooCommerce will generate a refund and returns policy as well as a privacy policy for you. Now, when you click on that, you'll see there's a lot of mumbo jumbo in here. You would want to go ahead and customize this. But if you don't want to use this generic one that was generated, if you go internally and you copy the embed code, you can just paste it right here into the actual page under the text box. And then that will show a professional maintained one generated here by Termly. Now, Termly, unfortunately, you do have to pay for, but think about the protection you would get. Now, it does allow you to, under the free plan, to have one legal policy for free. But ideally, your site will probably have 3, maybe 4 different types of policies. But you can check it out for yourself. This is something that should not be overlooked if you're selling products online, especially if you are in the European Union. Very important stuff. Okay, guys, on to the final piece of the puzzle. And probably, I'd argue, the most important part. This is how we get paid. So to accept the payments from our clients, we do need a payment processor that we've signed up with. Now, we're going to talk about 3 options here, and then some things you need to take into consideration when picking your processor. Now, some of the bigger reasons might be is where you're located geographically. Not all payment processing solutions are available globally. And then other things might be like the type of payments you want to accept. Maybe you want to accept cryptocurrency. We're going to look at all of that right now. Okay, so now one of the newer options is WooCommerce payments. This is convenient because you sign up for it right from your WordPress dashboard. It's already available in 15 countries, and I'll link it in the description of this video, but you can see the availability in all the different countries where it's at. It has a ton of different options, and one of the things that's pretty helpful here with WooCommerce payments, if we kind of go here and look at simplify my payments, it should show us here right in the dashboard that it has a payments option, and it's got a little preview video, and then it's got all the information right in your dashboard, sees who paid what for what. It's super simple to use and might be a great solution for you. Now, let's jump over to the one that I personally use on my e-commerce websites. It's Stripe. Stripe is a very, very reputable payment processing company, and they refer to themselves more as a platform or infrastructure for payments on the internet used by all sorts of shops. You see Google on there, you see Amazon, Zoom, Shopify. It really is one of the premium solutions out there. Now, there are some instances where it might not be available to you. And for that, we leave the third option, which is PayPal. Now, PayPal has also a lot of different options for you, but it allows you to use cryptos also. So that might be a consideration for you when you, decide what type of payments you want to accept on your site. Now, it's limited crypto support, so it's not going to support all of them. But there are a lot of young people out there today that prefer to trade and pay with crypto. We think it's a great thing, but not all sites and not all businesses are suited to utilizing crypto. So it's really going to be up to you. Now, one thing you might not know here is that WooCommerce Payments is actually Stripe with a different skin on it. It was developed in partnership with Stripe. So essentially what you're going to be getting is the same product. But there's one important difference you need to consider is that Stripe has an excellent dashboard for monitoring your payments along with a bunch of reporting options. We think that is extremely powerful and important for any business, but also it depends on your scale and it depends on the access you want. Now, with WooCommerce Payments, one of the big differences is that you will not have that backend dashboard on the Stripe site. You will not have access to it. You will only have the WooCommerce dashboard for your payments. So it might be a consideration for you. Again, it depends on what's important to you. Do you want everything in one place? Is in-depth reporting not that important to you? That type of thing. And there's another consideration, but we're not certain on this one, but we suspect that with WooCommerce Payments, a lot of the data lives in your WordPress database. Now, why is that important? Well, it is important because this could incredibly slow down your site. You don't want that because with every transaction added, with every payment processed, your database file might grow. Now, we don't have 100% confirmation, but since this lives on your WordPress dashboard, it's pretty safe to assume that this information is going to be living in there. So definitely just consider that also based on the transaction volume that you're expecting. Now, let's compare these services. And you might remember the site WP Forms from earlier when we talked about SMTP mail delivery and ensuring that your emails get delivered. Now, we'll link this article in the description of the video also, but it talks about Stripe versus PayPal. When we scroll down here, we just want to take a look at the different fees. Now, Stripe and PayPal are pretty on par here with 2.9% and 30 cents per transaction. Now, what does that mean? It means that let's say you have a $100 transaction. It's going to take 2.9% off that $100 transaction, so $2.90, but it's going to add 30 cents per transaction. So it's going to end up costing you $3.20 to process that transaction. That's just important for you to know. Since he's on par, it's okay. You might find cheaper processors out there. Maybe through your local bank, you want to check out and see whether they offer online processing. I know that, there are a bunch of options out there and those rates are generally negotiable. So that's up to you to check out. The great thing about these two options is none of them have startup costs. There's no contracts required. You can quit at any time and you only pay when you have sales on your site. Now, another thing is that Stripe does offer subscription payments. So if you have maintenance plans maybe that you're selling or a subscription box, Stripe might be the solution for you. PayPal does not currently offer that. Another one here to note is the chargeback fee. That's basically when your customer pays with a bad card or a payment gets, returned by the bank for some reason, or they, dispute the transaction, whatever it might be. Stripe charges you $15 per transaction and PayPal does $20. So depending on the line of business you're in, this might happen more often in some lines of business, just something to consider. Now, the other big thing here is that Stripe is only available in 32 countries. We saw earlier that WooCommerce Payments, I think, was only available in 15 plus countries right here. So, and PayPal over 200. So again, depends on where you are. I've personally found that with Stripe, the service is a little bit better, the support that you receive. But again, with PayPal, the money goes to a PayPal account. And here it goes with Stripe to a bank account. Now, it's important to note that because of the funds availability for you to utilize. So just keep that in mind when selecting your payment processor. And that's really the main things that I wanted to touch on here. So now, whichever payment processor that you end up using or choose, that's entirely up to you. But this is the advice we have for you. So all these payment processors offer instructions on how to link it up to your WooCommerce site. We'll also link that in the description of this video. So that's payments for you guys. And guys, you did it. That was it. We are all done with our How to Clone Any Online Store tutorial series. We went from setting up WooCommerce, installing it, getting everything configured perfectly, importing products, building a homepage, building out things like a header, a footer, product pages, archive pages. We have gone through it. We covered how to do payments. We went through adding packing slips to your orders. We have done so much. You should be proud of yourselves for what you've achieved here. Now, if there was something that we missed, we are definitely opening to do amendments to this course. I think one for sure would be is how to create a cart and checkout page with the new Divi modules, the update that came out while we were already recording this series. But if you have anything else that you'd like to see us do, definitely bring it up in the comments, either of this video or in the text post. And again, everything will be linked up in the description of this video that we mentioned in this instance with payments and anything else that we covered. Also, you'll see everything in the text description of the video. We really hope that you enjoyed this journey on how to clone any online store and that you found it useful. That is the important thing here. We want to help you guys out. Now, there are a lot of stuff that you can do to further enhance your site with our plugin, BodyCommerce. Definitely check that out. It'll be linked in the description of this video. And on screen, you'll see me scrolling through the various features of the plugin right now. You will miss out if you don't sign up for BodyCommerce. It is a game changer for any Divi WooCommerce store. So guys, with that, this is Roby with the Divi Engine team. I've enjoyed walking you through this process. I hope you've enjoyed walking it with me. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye for now.